I'm Edwin Samuelson. Welcome to the CineFiles, a show that allows you to eavesdrop on the conversation of fellow film fanatics. Today we're going to be talking about Dario Argento, who happens to be my favorite director. Today I picked 4 Argento films that I thought would the guys here would enjoy, and I'm looking forward to discussing them. Dario Argento was born in Italy. He was the son of a movie producer by the name of Salvatore Argento. He actually was born, as he said, he was actually born into the film business. So he became a film critic, and then he actually became a writer. He actually wrote a lot of screenplays. His most significant contribution before directing was as a co-screenwriter of Once Upon a Time in the West.
That's right.
With Bernardo Bertolucci, if I'm not mistaken, and a few others. And then that led to his first film. He wrote a script called Burr with the Crystal Plumage, which was actually very well received around the world and actually became a hit here even in America, which was unusual at the time. Argento became coined the Italian Hitchcock after this film. And it's easy to see why. It's a thriller that relies on a mystery with a lot of suspense and suspense scenes. The films I recommended were Inferno, Deep Red, Opera, and I believe, was it Tenebrae? Please forgive me.
No. It was Phenomena.
Phenomena.
So should we go in order? Like
yes,
the earliest one first?
The first film we're discussing today is Profondo Rosso, which is also known as Deep Red here in the United States. There's 2 versions of the film.
Manja.
I love this film. In fact, it actually is considered by a lot of people to be Dario Argento's best giallo. A giallo is actually, in Italian, means yellow, which is actually the color of a book that is actually a mystery thriller. Basically, it's a thriller mystery with some murder scenes.
It's kind of like we call pulp.
It's a pulp fiction
based on
murder
the kind
mystery.
of paper that was used to print, it's the same thing. Italy's pulps were giallos.
I think the best example of a giallo film would be, in America, would be Psycho. That would be the closest thing I would say.
Kinda.
But a little more pulpy, though.
What about Phantasm?
Oh, that's not even a...
Deep Red.
Deep Red, let's start off with Deep Red. Deep Red stars David Hemmings as a pianist who actually witnesses a murder.
A what?
A pianist.
Oh.
What do you think I said,
I gotta
Mike?
laugh.
Oh, yes.
David Hemmings from Blow Up.
Yes, and it's no coincidence he was actually cast in this because of that film. The film continues Argento's use of a mystery, but in a different style than his earlier works. In fact, it was fueled by a score by a progressive rock group by the name of Goblin. It is a phenomenal wall-to-wall score that is very memorable. In fact, it was a huge seller in Italy, over 1 million copies sold, which is probably an amazing achievement back then. The soundtrack actually propelled the movie quite a bit. He got a very famous screenwriter who was one of Fellini's screenwriters, and he wrote a script, and it actually is probably his best written script. It's actually a really good murder mystery, and it actually has a lot of visual style that is classic Argento. I can't really describe the film too much. It's just because it really is it's a moving piece of art. I think it's a gorgeous film to look at.
I'd say of the 4 films that you had us watch, I would say that this is the best of the 4.
I agree with that.
I think it's. I have a problem with the very. I think it just kind of. I think the ending is a little too abrupt. I think he could have found a better visual way of ending
I would
it.
say the ending is goddamn ridiculous. But anyway,
but I think it is a good mystery. I think it is his strongest written piece. We're going to discuss the other films later. I do agree that Argento is a good visualist, but a lousy storyteller.
I hate to
And the reason why Deep Red is one of the best films of the lot is that it does have a better script behind it. There is such a thing as somewhat complex characters that aren't doing things just because Argento wants them to do things so he can do this conceptual shot.
Well, and I like the actors too. I think David Hemmings is an excellent lead.
David Hemmings is an effective lead. I like it that he's not a true hero type. He does have his failings. You do realize that this guy could be in trouble at any time. He does have a nice bit of chemistry with the lead actress, whoever that is.
Daria Nicolodi, who actually was known as Dario Argento's muse.
Okay.
She was actually starred in quite a few of his other films.
They were involved.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were involved, and they had a daughter together who might be familiar to you as Asia Argento, who
Asia
Argento, who was actually in quite Triple X and quite a few other Hollywood films.
Now, I like Hemmings and this woman's chemistry. And there was, for me, there was one genuinely, what would you say, goosebump moment in the film. is when the dummy comes at the guy, the teacher. When the dummy on the wheels
Yes.
comes at the teacher. That was a genuinely
puppet.
creepy moment.
Yeah, the mad puppet, as they call it.
And that was it. Otherwise, the movie was not that good. It was tough.
Oh.
It was tough to get through.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear you say
It
that.
wasn't as much of a nightmare as the other three, but
Oh, great! I already know where this show is going. Oh,
and when you
God.
say prog rock, like progressive rock for Goblin, if you mean by prog rock you mean awful fucking music.
No. Okay, no. That's it. Okay, Mike.
It
No,
was horrible.
You're insulting. You see, you piss all over me. I mean, you should just take your dick out and piss all over me now.
Oh, my
Piss on me
God.
now.
So
I mean, I am
horrible.
so disappointed in you.
I'm not going to be as
This-
harsh on Deep Red because I think there is a very good film in Deep Red.
I just said a couple nice things about it.
I think,
yeah,
in fact,
and then you say
I
it
think it's
sucks.
of the films that we watch. I think it's the only film where the visual came together with the storyline. Like I loved his tracking shot walking through the courtyard, and you see that restaurant, which is straight out of Nighthawk, the famous painting.
Yeah, we're Hopper painting.
There's a lot of stuff in there. The mystery is actually kind of interesting, and as it unfolds, yeah, you have to suspend your disbelief, but it unfolds within its own. It sets up its logic and sticks to it, unlike his later films, which he just throws logic out the window.
Well, that's the thing is this, is that Argento is first is a visual storyteller. I mean, a visual stylist. He's not really a storyteller in terms of narrative structure.
And I just want to say, I like the resolution to the mystery. I just didn't like how that was revealed. It got kind of like ridiculous, to quote Mike. But other than that, I had no problem with the storyline. I had no problem with
But that seems
central
to be,
mystery itself.
from what I saw from one Argento film to another, Argento's, all his endings are so not only implausible, but like I mentioned earlier, in the words of John Wayne, re-goddamn ridiculous. They're all the endings are re-goddamn ridiculous. They don't make any sense.
I have to mention what I like about the film.
Oh, yeah, of
okay.
course.
I got
But you already did.
I gotta say, I think the soundtrack is very unique. I love it a lot. I like the
Unique as in horrible.
No, it's not. It's a good soundtrack. Okay.
I think
love
that
the
of all of
soundtrack.
his films, the soundtrack works.
It works brilliantly with
For
the
this
visuals,
film where-
and there's some great
I'll get to
opening.
my
The opening
criticism of
tracking
Goblin
shot
later.
with the psychic having the vision of her own death is brilliantly shot. I love the way it looks. I love the sound of the music, the montage of the killer putting the mascara on the eye. I think it's great. I also like the story. I think the story actually keeps you guessing. I also like the opening flashback, which I think is very unnerving. And of course, there's a great scene where David Hemmings goes into this old house and he sees a chalkboard. It's very haunting. Argento, as he said, his biggest influence is his dreams. He
I actually
writes a
think
lot
it's
of his
probably,
dreams
of
down.
all the films I've seen by Argento, including Suspiria, I think it's probably his best film.
Suspiria was a big hit. It was a supernatural film, so Fox gave him the money to make a sequel.
Right.
And he made the sequel, and the sequel is Inferno, which I think is a much better film. Now, there is some big flaws in this film. One is that there is no story whatsoever. But what I love about it is the set pieces. There's some wonderful set pieces that are very frightening and very scary.
Okay, you said it yourself. You said there is no storyline in this
There is
whatsoever.
no story. It's a dream.
But it doesn't make any sense. Even if you want to have story fragments, at least have something make sense in the sense. If you use the dream logic, there's so many movies these days that can get away with that cheap excuse. It's just a dream. That's why it's a piece of shit.
I think
or
it's a
something.
cheap excuse too.
Yeah.
It's attributes something as being dream
to
logic.
me,
A lot of
like-
people defend Argento saying, no, you don't understand, it's all dream logic. I'm like, it's lazy writing.
It's non-existent writing.
I still, I mean, there's so many beautiful
I mean, look,
scenes.
I
in the
would
film.
say that, yes, he's got some. I would say the difference between him and Michael Bay is constantly making Miller High Life commercials. Okay? Whereas Argento does
or
have,
United States Air Force commercials.
he does know how to tap into that dark imagination with his, I think in ways with his
if
visuals
you're
that
a,
other.
if you're an
However-
11-year-old kid,
However, this is what point I'm getting to. People can point to someone like Alfred Hitchcock as being a conceptual director, and to a certain extent they would be right. A lot of his films were based on a single concept: guy being chased after a crop duster, becomes North by
Suicide
Northwest.
Blondes.
Being murdered, being in a vulnerable state in your own shower, and being knifed to death there. That became Psycho. The difference is he had kick-ass screenwriters develop stories around those concepts.
and amazing actors.
And the problem with Argento is that it's
he has no
lazy.
kick. He has no kick-ass.
He has these
screenwriters.
interesting
His
ideas that
actors
are like
mostly horrible.
vignettes, like little scene sequences, but he doesn't seem to care about. I don't give a shit about story. I don't give a shit about character. I just want to shoot this scene. I want to
Looks
shoot
at a
that
film
scene.
as if
I want to shoot this
as
sequence.
If he wrote
and
down
we'll just
all
pull
his
together
bad
and
dreams. He wrote down. He must have wrote down all his nightmares from age 8 to age 11. Wrote down all these nightmares, and then when he became a 30 or 40-year-old adult, he's like, I'm going to make all my movies based on my dreams as an 8-year-old and 11-year-old.
I feel like I'm fighting a losing battle.
As much as it's beautiful visually. This is the other problem I have with Argento. It's beautiful visually seeing this person swimming through this like whole
That's a
underwater
great
thing.
scene. I love that
but
scene.
it makes no fucking sense that a person is going to dive into something
in an abandoned building.
an abandoned building
Who
for
in
that
their right
fucking
mind is going to dive into an abandoned building? First of all,
I know dream logic, but I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. First of all, abandoned buildings usually don't have red and blue lighting. That's one. Second of all,
I give up.
When you dive,
I give up, everybody.
when you dive
I
into
can't win this
water,
battle.
you're not supposed to see really clearly. She can see everything down there. It's not like there's a spotlight hanging above there where she can, or swim with the flashlight. How about that?
I should just literally commit
But when
carry on camera.
But when she walks
asked
into the basement, and there's clearly a serial killer over a cauldron cooking someone, and and the guy goes, "You're in the wrong room." Like, you're in the wrong room. And he doesn't even turn around. So she's
Get
like,
off my lawn!
well, there's obviously a serial killer there boiling somebody, so I'm going to approach him more. And then when he attacks me, I should be surprised and scared.
It's dream logic, though.
everybody,
It's all a dream.
everybody, I'm just going to
You're
get up.
in the wrong room.
I give up.
Defend it, please. We're giving you your.
Yeah, now you're just going to laugh at me and.
No,
They're all gonna laugh at
we
you.
said what we had
They're
to say
all
about
gonna
it.
laugh at you. All right, I'll try.
I like Deep Red.
Okay, but he hated it.
I hated it less than the other three.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much for that. Well, no, what I like about Inferno is I think, like I said, it's a very beautiful, stylish piece, and that I do love this dream logic. I mean, I love the scene where this Irene Miracle, who you might remember from Midnight Express, of course, Mike will remember her tits in Midnight Express.
Oh, that was her?
Yeah, it was her, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, I can't believe it, Mike. You didn't recognize tits for once. That's unusual enough.
You don't
He
see
was too
tits in
caught
this-
up in a dream.
Yeah, she was
you
caught
don't
in the
see
dream.
tits in this
Well,
film.
that was Irene Miracle, and she was actually, there's a scene where she goes in with the ballroom to retrieve a key, and of course, all these bodies come up, and it's a very haunting and scary sequence. Very creepy. I love the way he used the sets. You know, it felt like an old Hollywood type film, like, you know, these big giant sets, and he's able to make this imaginary
library?
world. Well, just the whole, like the building, the entire building, you know, and like it was like a backlot, obviously, but the way they made it work, I thought was very unusual. It felt like a little microcosm.
You know what
in this-
you know what these films caused me to do, and I remember it especially with Inferno. And I don't like this at all, what it does to me. But you know what watching a film like Inferno does to me?
What?
It turns me into one of the goons from Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, great.
Because all of a sudden I find myself filling in lines of dialogue, of sarcasm, of jokes, just to like pass the time. Like my brain is melting. How do I make this time fly by faster? So when she goes into the library and all there are is these old decrepit men at the desk, and this old man walks over with me, "Can I help you?" And she's like looking for this ancient tome, and it's like, it's over there. And I felt like, and of course at the time I was like, yes, I'm looking for some old decrepit men.
I know it's a book
and it looks
she's
like
looking
you've
for.
got
She's looking for a book.
But this is the thing. That this is where I'm gonna.
Can you give me any defense? Anything?
Anything? I think he's a good visualist, but this is the thing. If your film is working on the precept that it's dream logic, then you need to let the audience know that's what it's going to be.
Well, it's
It's
supernatural.
not like he's
tale.
Matthew Barney and he's doing like a
Conceptual art
art project. You know going in, it's going to be a conceptual art project. It's all a bunch of beautiful visuals with great sets and interesting faces wearing interesting costumes. There's no scripted logic,
yeah,
but you
I
know
will
what
say-
it is going in. Argento is selling this as a horror film, and he was a film critic, and he wrote for Sergio Leone, and he puts out this film that's supposed to be a horror film. And people are responding, what the fuck is this about? And he says, oh, it's supposed to be dream logic.
Let me say, if I'm going to take what you're saying and apply it to Edwin's love for this film. If you like Argento for this reason, which is clearly stated to us, you should also be a huge fan of Peter Greenaway. You should be a huge fan of Peter
I
Greenaway.
like Peter Greenaway. I don't love him, but I like a lot of his films.
Because a lot of his storytelling is dream logic. None of it makes any sense, but the visuals are usually except for our cook, the thief, his wife, and her lover.
But the
That's
thing about Peter
fantastic.
Greenaway, though, is that, again, like I was referring to Hitchcock, or even to Matthew Barney, better dialogue, better scripted.
Well, that's the problem with the Italian industry, and I want to make that clear, is
Yeah,
that
watch it, they have women.
a lot of films, most films in Italy were shot without sound.
That's
and they were
not-
dubbed
that's
in
not
later.
an excuse.
So it's poor dubbing and a lot of things like
That's
that.
not an excuse.
Because you could also criticize Once
Every
Upon a Time in the
Fellini
West about
film,
that.
or Bernardo Bertolucci's earlier films, like 1900,
Sergio Leone.
all of Sergio Leone's films, they were all dubbed, and they were all very well written.
I'm
They
just so depressed.
translate.
You even
I'm
knew
really
you couldn't make a stand
I
on
don't know
that
why I
one.
recommended this show, guys. I've been looking forward to doing a show on Argento for years, and I really got it, didn't I?
The next one is opera, correct?
Was no Phenomenon was before
I'm
Opera.
going to give it to you guys. Why don't you guys just rave it and destroy it, and I'll just sit here and be quiet.
This is
I
going to
give
be
up.
like the show you did on Kevin Smith with Jeff.
I give up. It is worse.
Jeff doesn't even
This is worse.
defend
Yeah, because
himself.
Jeff concedes and even admits Kevin Smith is a shitty filmmaker, but I can't do that.
You've got to represent all the Argento fans.
Well,
tonight.
actually, yeah, you have to represent all the Argento because there's a lot of them, and
All
I know
right.
We're going to get a
All right.
lot of
I'm
flack
gonna-
because there's guys out there that are going to be
all
like,
right.
"How dare
I
you?"
get-
All right,
Guarantee it.
I'll sum it up what I like about Inferno. I'll make it really quick. Okay, I love a lot of the sequence. There's a lot of memorable set pieces, and they all together, separately, they're terrific, and together, but on their own,
Basically, you're
they're-
saying the sum of the parts is greater than
That's
the whole.
exactly what I'm saying. There's a lot of great set pieces. I agree that they're not linked together well, but all the set pieces I love. And I like the rock score by Keith Emerson of Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Even though I'm not a very progressive rock fan, I'm more of a punker, as you guys know from loving the Stooges and stuff. But the score is really good, and again, visually, it's gorgeous to look at. It's that's what I love. It's a piece of art. I agree there is no narrative structure, and the lead, Lee McCloskey, he's very weak. In fact, the original lead was supposed to be James Woods, but he pulled out at the last minute.
That's funny. That would be an interesting movie to see.
Yeah, James Woods would be great as the lead.
Phenomena is the next one, right?
Phenomena, and in this one, I'm already prepared to be raked over the coals, but I'm going to go on record. I mean, I'm scared half to death to even tell these guys. This is my favorite Argento film. See, Mike is already sniffing and sneezing. This motherfucker right here. Let me tell you, I'm fucking dead on this one. It was released. It was actually a 2-hour film. It was cut to 80-something minutes and released in America as Creepers. But the original title is Phenomena. It stars Jennifer Connelly and Donald Pleasance. Of course, Mike, do your Donald Pleasance impression for everybody. Come on, look at the camera.
I was not a big Argento fan, Edwin.
Yeah,
I don't know. That was not a good
It sounded
one.
like
You did it better. You did it better last time.
Well,
you did
I
it
had,
But anyway, Jennifer Connelly's in it, and this is one of her first roles. Argento saw her in Once Upon a Time in America, which was directed by his old friend Sergio Leone, and cast her in the lead in this film. And this film is one of Argento's most unique films, is that it combines a supernatural with a giallo, and it concerns a killer at a girls' school, and it concerns Jennifer Connelly as a girl who actually has an unusual power, which is...
Might I interject? Also,
Yeah.
I think it's his first film where he actually did record sound live.
No, it was this one.
Not all of it was dubbed.
I believe it was actually shot in English, but I don't believe it was actually shot.
the scenes that was just with Jennifer Connelly and Donald Pleasance.
And Donald
actually-
Pleasance, yeah, that was not dubbed.
There were some scenes. I mean, there were some scenes that were shot in English, but it's the first film that Argento really shot. They said whatever fully in English was Two Evil Eyes with Harvey Keitel.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but he did shoot them live, not as they would say, mit out sound.
Yeah. What I like about this film is, like I said, it combines, like I said, Jennifer Connelly plays a girl who has a unique ability to communicate with insects, and
She's basically a mutant. She's an X-Men, pretty much.
But I like that's what I liked about it. It's just such a bizarro concept. Everything on paper, this is ridiculous. But the ridiculousness of the movie is what makes it work so
You
well.
don't really find that out too much until the end. You think maybe there's some sort of like weird like little psychic connection, but you don't really realize until the end that she's got these amazing powers like she's an X-Man.
I love the film. I mean, I love I think actually it has two of Argento's best actors, Jennifer Connelly and Donald Pleasance. I think their scenes together are very good. They have a nice chemistry. It's a very, it's a good, two good performances together. And Donald Pleasance plays like this wheel-bound chair professor who actually has like a chimp who actually assists him him.
He's the Professor X of the movie.
But I love that. It's just such a bizarro film. I mean, it's just it's so out there that it works so well. That's what I love about it.
And I think that is such a mess on so many different levels. But it's kind of like it's the mirror image of what you're saying, in your opinion. You're saying it's so bizarre, it's so out there, it works. To me, it is such a mess on so many different levels that it doesn't work on as many levels as I can look at it. The Jennifer Connelly character, every time something bad happens to her, she just seems like, I just almost got beat up. So and she's got the same expression on her face over and over, like frustrated, bratty girl, just fights on, and she has so many opportunities to be kidnapped, and this headmistress terrorizes her, and all these things, and she's dumped into like a hole, and she's crawling through tunnels, and she's still got this same like bratty, constipated look on her face. Donald Pleasance is wasted, I think.
Oh, I thought he was very good.
And Donald, it doesn't say much about Donald Pleasance. It really doesn't say much for the director that a knife-wielding monkey. Yes, a knife-wielding monkey.
No, everybody, correction. It's a chimpanzee with a razor. Not a knife-wielding monkey. It's a chimpanzee with a razor.
It makes a difference.
It's like from The Simpsons.
That's what I love about the movie. It's so out there.
I apologize for interrupting my friend, but I want to give a much more nuanced,
prepared to get
level-headed
over the
approach
coals
to
on this
this.
one.
How can you add nuance to a knife-wielding monkey?
This is what I'm saying.
It's a razor blade carrying chimpanzee.
You say you love this film because it's so wild and out there in left field. You have to.
It's if David Lynch directed this.
No. If David Lynch directed it, again, there's a difference. I would say films by Stuart Gordon's earlier films, like Reanimator and From Beyond, those are wild and out there, and they work because there's a consistency in the tone. You know what? I would have liked Phenomena a lot better if it recognized what it was doing and was a bit more tongue-in-cheek.
You didn't like any of it?
I think that, I'm sorry, let's make our heroine, for no reason at all, can talk to insects. Great. Why? So that at the end she can have insects save her when the main serial killer character from Don't Look Now pops up at the end of the movie.
I was going to say it was Jason Voorhees. It's Jason Voorhees.
That was creepy, that little midget. What I love about it is it's a fairy tale in a way. That's what it is. It's a fairy tale because, there's that scene where she goes...
Okay, objectively, look at how the film is put together, structured, shot, scripted. I'm telling you, what you're saying, if you talked about the film... I'm just looking into the camera. Maybe a good film could be made out of it, where it's like tonally, it's consistent and everything, where it's, like say David Lynch did this, there'd be a tonal consistency to what's going on, where you would accept the logic, where you were tipped off right away, okay, this is the kind of film you're going to see. And this film is typical Argento in that I'm just going to throw things in there, make shit up as I go along, because I'm interested in having a scene that does this, or I'm interested in having a moment where the character can talk to insects.
Now, when I first started watching Phenomena, when they rolled the beginning credits, I got kind of excited, and I'll tell you why. You know why I got excited?
Bill Wyman score?
Oh, well, no, I saw that Iron Maiden and Motorhead.
Where did they get all these people to do the soundtrack?
Well,
Bill Wyman. Bill Wyman's a huge Argento fan.
But it was like this whole bunch of did you see?
So I saw these guys on the credits. I was like, holy shit! I love Iron Maiden. I love Motorhead. I can't wait to hear this. And I've noticed from the 4 Argento films, and I can't speak for all the other films, but I noticed during these 4, Martin Scorsese has a incredible talent, not only as a filmmaker, but this guy applies music perfectly in his films. Whereas Argento has the opposite talent. He takes music and puts it in where it doesn't belong and is completely awful and out of sync.
I highly disagree on that.
He was playing Iron Maiden. He was playing Motorhead. He just throws songs in. Like, he must be like asleep at the wheel while he's editing and then wakes up suddenly and goes, put this music in.
To the film producers or distribution company wanted to release a soundtrack album. So they had to have an excuse for all these.
I disagree with you guys.
These songs
where were the songs appropriate?
Anything.
There was like a scene where
the opening scene is great with the music. You see the camera go down with the Bill Wyman, theme.
Yeah, but the Iron Maiden stuff, the
Iron Maiden didn't work. The Motorhead.
Well, Iron Maiden
kind
of sucks anyway.
I like Iron Maiden.
You like that crap?
666, Number of the Beast. That's a great song.
I hate metal.
But now
Run for the
yeah, Run for the Hills. That's a great song too.
I want to run for everybody. I want to run for the fucking hills after this shit.
But
I'm tired of this.
you know how like when you drink like a Slurpee or a slushie or something and you get the brain freeze?
Yeah.
I would rather have 3 of those in a row than have to listen to a Goblin soundtrack ever again.
Can't you give Argento credit for using the music well in Deep Red at least?
Yeah, I think I said this, and I'll say this again. I think of the 4 films, I think Deep Red's his best movie. I think it's his best film. I respect Suspiria more than I like it. I can see why people. I can at least see why people are fans of that film.
But can you see
and
who
I
was
respect
influenced?
His place in
can
horror.
you see the influence of Suspiria on other filmmakers? Like I'll give you the best. And if you don't give this credit, Mike. Do you know what John Carpenter said was the biggest influence when he made Halloween? Was Suspiria. In fact, if you look at the color schemes, they're nearly identical. The blue tint in a lot of
I'm not. This isn't a debate about his influence or his place. And it's just taking each film. My problem with Suspiria is the same problem I have with other films we're discussing. I feel like his filmmaking style, to me, is the equivalent of an 11-year-old girl screeching at the top of her voice. Constantly, always, in your face, with no rhyme or reason. And I just find myself, I always find it an assaultive experience watching his films. He does this thing that he loves to do a lot where he has like the sound of a child on the soundtrack doing like a lullaby.
La, 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 yeah, that was in, wasn't
And
Deep
I'm just
Red?
like,
Let's get it together. La 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 la.
I'm sorry, is that scary or is that
It's
annoying?
creepy.
Deep Red.
No,
that was
it's not.
The
lullaby.
opening scene, yes, it's creepy. That's creepy.
It worked once in Deep Red, but he's repeated that motif a lot.
Over and over and over
and it's
again.
just...
We should do that in unison together. La.
You know what's
la,
creepier
no.
is the opera music in The Omen. That's creepier. That's 40 times creepier.
I give up because this is a hazing.
And a knife-wielding monkey.
It's a goddamn razor blade chimpanzee.
But I love the fact that he got revenge at the end, and he was sort of the death
I thought
wish
that was very
monkey.
moving.
I was talking about the Argento films, and I said, now, there was a couple moments in Phenomena and a couple moments in Inferno where it was so slow I had to fast forward a little bit. I don't like doing that, but sometimes when I grow impatient, I have to fast forward a little bit.
So you didn't really watch the whole movie?
No. Opera, somehow I didn't fast forward at all. And I told Eric that I was so bludgeoned by all of his Argento films that I felt that while I was watching opera, like, this is all right. Because I felt like I was like a Stockholm syndrome person when it comes to my brain had been kidnapped by Argento so much that I started empathizing with this guy.
Okay, I'm putting out a call to all CineFiles. If there's an Argento fan out there,
they're out there.
please help me on. And
Well, it's not a call-in show.
This is please, somebody respond, viewer, come on, somebody, I need help.
Even though we don't have
I'm
call-in
sinking
technology.
on a
The
sinking
insect
ship.
girl is watching this, and she's responding with
She's
this
like,
right now.
Once again, it's the same garbage that you see over The Killer with Black Gloves, Dario Argento, blah, 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 hunting this opera singer, even though this woman doesn't look like she's an opera singer. You got a prick as a British guy who you think is the killer, but he's not. You got the stalwart policeman who could be something else. Then you have like the kind of gay guy that gets killed immediately. And then the best part, I'm not spoiling anything for anybody that hasn't seen opera, but I will say at the end, it's great when one cop goes up to the girl, the main character, and goes, So he tried to kill you, huh? That's like the most phenomenal quote from that film. So he tried to kill you, huh? You remember that, right?
I gotta go. I can't deal with this anymore.
Okay, well, wait. What do you think of opera?
Well, opera, guys. You see, I'm really like a deer in the headlights here. I feel like I'm gonna laugh because these guys are gonna make fun of
I
me.
think opera is stunningly shot.
Okay,
I think it has a great sense of movement.
I'll
and
tell you
camera
what.
work.
I'll tell you this. Opera, I think, is Argento's last truly good film. It was shot by Ronnie Taylor, who shot one of my favorite films of all time, which is Phantom of the Paradise. It actually has a lot of stylistic.
It's basically it's Argento's. Even though he did his take on Phantom Opera, this is sort of his update on Phantom Opera.
He did Phantom of the Opera later. This is
Right.
a good film. Actually, Vanessa Redgrave was actually supposed to be in the movie.
I heard that.
Yeah, she actually
Vanessa Redgrave was supposed to play the diva.
And
whose face
she
you
had
never
actually
see.
seen Argento's films and said,
And
no
said, "No
fucking way am I
fucking
doing
way."
this.
Oh, God.
Instead, she did Cannonball Run 2.
Bye. I'm out. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. No more. No more. You piss and you shit on my favorite fucking director. I'm literally giving up on you guys.
Oh, Edwin. Opera.
You guys are a bunch of fucking douchebags.
He tried to kill you, huh?
Yeah, I think that's a logical thing. I mean, hey, he tried to kill you, right?
Wait, okay.
I'm
now-
sorry, she's crawling through the grass and she's.
And she saves a
I'm
lizard.
not
That
going
was
to
moving.
Kill this lizard.
The ending stinks. I agree with you on that. It should have ended. It should have ended just before the scene in the mountains, I thought. Anyway, what I like about Opera is that it has some terrific set pieces. Again, there's a great POV of the crows, and of course that are released. I think that's a very brilliant. In fact, Argento shows how he pulled off the effect with this special camera rig, which is amazing, of the 360 of the camera going around with the crows point of view.
There's some fantastic, some of his best camera work is in this
What about the
film.
scene with the bullet through the doorway?
But great camera work does not a movie make.
Let me tell you something.
Okay.
Knowing you, Ed, the way I know you, if I was trying to tell you that there was a certain movie I liked,
Green Lantern.
no, but if I told you Green Lantern, it had great set pieces, you'd be like, bullshit alert, bullshit alert, bullshit alert. So that's what I'm saying to you. How many times can you say great set pieces, great? You know what? You know what Argento's good at? Lighting. The guy is a genius at lighting. Whoever his DP or his lighting coordinator or director is awesome. Great lighting. That's it. That's it.
I just, you know what, guys? I'm not even going to try to respond anymore because I really feel like I'm losing a battle here.
What do you like about Opera? What besides the great camera work?
Don't say great
Do you
set
think it's a good
pieces.
mystery?
I actually think the
Do you
mystery
think
is
it's a
sort of
compelling story?
The mystery is a decent
And
mystery.
I love the fact that it was kind of funny though that the wardrobe girl really kind of fucks up the killer for a while. Like she puts up a
You
pretty
know what's
good
so
fight.
funny though? You know what's
She
so
does,
funny?
but at the same
you know what's
time,
so
though,
funny?
this is the
Gloria has actually had that woman on a guest as on her
Oh,
show. Yes.
No, really?
This
Yes,
is
I'm not
this
kidding you.
is the thing though. That's a good example of what I'm talking about with Argento.
Yes, she puts up a fight, but then Argento has her do ridiculous things so it serves whatever he wants to do for that scene and has no logic
Yeah,
behind
the
it.
wardrobe girl kind of had him on the ropes, had a chance, and
She
then
had
she
him
did
on the road.
something
She could have
stupid.
stopped him, and the first instinct was to like get that girl and save her, and he just had.
There's a very creepy scene with the knife or the key with with her. I think that's very
no,
well
no,
creepy.
that's not what I'm talking about.
You know what he's talking about? You know what he's talking about? What you just referenced with John Carpenter and Halloween. Jamie Lee Curtis. That's a great example of somebody that's in a situation that goes in. They don't do something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Lee Curtis was the type of heroine that is being chased by a serial killer later on, an unstoppable killer, and she's always making smart decisions.
He has people put them in situations only so that he could do that shot where the guy opens up her stomach and pull the key out from under her stomach.
Once again,
or
10-year-old dream.
It's just all
I
there
had
just
a
to
nightmare.
serve.
All right, everybody.
that
I'm Edwin
visual.
Samuelson. This was the CineFiles. I'm going to
But
leave it with these guys. I'm
one more
gone.
thing, Ed.
What?
One more thing that
I want to leave. I want to go home.
What you know of me,
It's not clear
And you're-
why she doesn't go to the police initially when she's being stalked by this guy.
I love the film. I'm sorry. I can't defend it to you
This-
guys. I
this-
just
this
can't.
just
I-
drives
I'm
me
doing
crazy.
a terrible job. I'm failing my CineFiles fans.
this drives me crazy with Argento because it should be completely different. But in opera, the other three films, no. But in opera especially, you know me. What do I love more than anything in a film?
Tits and ass.
Exactly. Nude scenes. I love nude scenes.
Yes.
We finally get a nude scene out of these 4 films, and guess what? The girl's got big hairy ass armpits. And I'm like, Jesus Christ!
It's
We
Europe.
couldn't have a great nude scene, and they pull the sheet down, and there's the big bush underneath the armpit. It's like, God damn it!
It's Europe, dude. What do you expect?
But well, defend the movie. I mean, you said it has great camera work. Okay, fine. It has great set pieces. Fine. But is that it? Is that why you love the film?
I like the mystery. I think it actually works pretty well. I thought at the end it was a surprise, like Mike said, is that the person
small
who
surprise.
It was a
wasn't-
surprise.
The mystery, I don't have a problem with the mystery, but again, I have a problem with the execution and the through line. Like how you get, it's not
you weren't
about the
creeped out at
mystery.
all. You weren't creeped out at any of the scenes. I thought the scene with the knife with the key was
I
actually
thought
really
what
creepy.
I thought was like after seeing all the Argento films you asked us to see, on top of the ones I've already seen, all I could think about is, gee, Asia Argento, I understand why she doesn't speak to her father. He must be one really fucked up dude. It's not like James Wan or Eli Roth fucked up, because we'll see. Eli Roth hasn't made the same amount, but Argento, every single film is like he tries to out-sick himself. Every single film. I'm not impressed. It's like we've discussed the whole subject of torture porn. And in the Eli, I don't see how
How about this?
I don't see how opera is any better
let's talk
than
about,
say.
All right, let's talk about this. Okay. Can you guys give credit to anybody? Can't you see Argento's influence on a lot of directors today?
It doesn't matter. I see fucking B-movie. I see Roger Corman's influence on a lot of directors. So what?
I just want to jump off a roof. I mean,
what does that mean?
You got to give me something here. I know, because he's influenced John Carpenter. He's influenced James Wan. He's influenced Martin Scorsese.
I could sit there and say you won't. I could get mad at you for not wanting to see a whole bunch of
but
films.
You were talking about? You were comparing Argento to Michael Bay earlier. Who has Michael Bay influenced?
Dude,
nobody.
But to throw that back on you, I could say there's a whole bunch of films I know that you won't say. I say, but you know what? Know who influenced him? Charlie Chaplin. But you probably wouldn't go out of your way to see that, or you probably wouldn't go out of your way to see a lot of John Ford's films.
I give some respect to the person if he actually, influenced
I had to
admired.
and I had to really push the Western episode because you said you didn't like Westerns, and my argument was like, but Westerns are what influenced most of the films you're a fan of.
I like Westerns. I just don't like all
I don't
Westerns.
think I would go on go out on a limb or be too loud in my proclamation that Dario Argento influenced James Wan. James Wan is a piece of shit.
I think Argento is first and foremost a visual stylist. I love the way his films look. I think that he uses music very well, contrary to what you say. I like his mysteries. I agree he's not the greatest narrative.
But you like music. You have, for the most part, you have pretty good taste in music.
Thank you. Tell people that. At least that we can agree on.
How can you like the music? It's horrible.
It works very well with the visuals.
I do think that his music cues for a lot of scenes are inappropriate for the scenes that are being displayed.
They don't always work, but
not always.
Not in all his films, but Suspiria works brilliantly. Deep Red it works brilliantly.
It works in
Inferno
Suspiria.
is very good.
Deep Red it works.
In Phenomena, I agree. There's some places the music is inappropriate, but I think a lot of times it complements the visuals.
And there's just a lot of stuff where it's like, okay, I understand conceptual. I understand you want things to look good and chic and cool. But there's a point where it's like, okay, now you're going to be questioning the reality or the logic of that scene. It's like going back to Hitchcock thing. A lot of his films are built around a single concept. But he had really smart people come together and flesh out that concept to the point where you had a beginning, middle, and end, characters you root for, and a plot. Even if there were moments where you had to suspend your disbelief, that worked because the logic and the rules were set up from the beginning, and he obeyed those rules.
I give up, guys. I
feel like Argento constantly creates rules, and he just like throws them out just to appease
I've already
whatever
told
he
you what I
wants
like
to do.
about him. I told you first and foremost he's a visual stylist. He's not really much of a narrative structure, but I love the way.
So then he should work for Macy's as a window dresser. I mean,
I give up, everybody. I'm Edwin Samuelson. This is
Right?
the CineFiles. I'm out of here. Fuck it. I give up. Goodbye.
this is like the best show ever.